Now, I should tell you, that guy threatening to quit over a vaccine mandate is in fact fully vaccinated. And a part of me wants to give him credit for sticking to his principles and at the very least calling out his employer over its vaccine policy, something that, as we've noted repeatedly, people like Tucker Carlson don't have the courage to do. But the thing is, like Tucker, Dan Bongino's also a Fox News host. And weirdly enough, he has not threatened nor said one single word about Fox's strict vaccine protocols that you either vaccinate or test daily. I guess the tough guy routine only goes so far.
Nobody wants to think of themselves as a coward. Nobody. They all want to think they're on the right side of it. Therefore, if everyone else is a coward as well, it justifies their cowardice. Look, this is just the natural state of things. There's nothing unusual about my cowardice. Nothing. They're all with me. They're all cowards too. Here's one of those cowards. I want you to pay very close attention to this clip. This is a guy who has very little dignity or self-respect. I don't say this to be silly, but I kind of feel bad for this guy. He's obviously a guy who has self-esteem issues. It's Chris Hayes from MSNBC. And here's Chris Hayes attacking me last night on his show, which is fine. When I say fine, I don't mean it's ever comfortable. I mean, it's fine. He has an opinion program like I do. I attack back. That's what we do. We both have different opinions. But here's Chris Hayes, who's an obvious coward, attacking me because he's embarrassed and humiliated that I took a stand he can't justify because he's a lemming and a coward. And when people tell him what to do, jam a vaccine in your arm, he does it because that's what he does. He's a follower. He's a follower. Here's Chris attacking me last night for my stand against Cumulus's vaccine mandate. I want you to check this out, and I want you to catch the way he tries to justify me. He tries to attack my principles on it by invoking something that is in fact false. There is no vaccine mandate at Fox News. I'll show you in a minute. Check this out.
Cumulus Media, the radio conglomerate he works for, told employees they must be fully vaccinated by October 11th. Over the past week, at least 4 radio hosts have left the company after refusing to be vaccinated. Now, one of the stars of Cumulus Media organization is threatening to leave unless they remove the mandate.
Have these companies ever thought of that? The countless numbers of moms and dads who are sitting at some kitchen table explaining to their kids how they may have to move out, how daddy doesn't have a job because a bunch of people in a C-suite thought it'd be a good idea to sit around and play pretend Dr. Fauci for a moment and mandate people jam something in their bodies that they don't want to take. You can have me or you can have the mandate. But you can't have both of us.
Oh, well, that's a tough choice. If you do not have an uncle who shares his videos on Facebook, that is Dan Bongino, a guy who's found a niche as one of the MAGA universe side characters, rage-filled former Secret Service agent. Now, I should tell you, that guy threatening to quit over a vaccine mandate is in fact fully vaccinated. And a part of me wants to give him credit for sticking to his principles and at the very least calling out his employer over its vaccine policy, something that, as we've noted repeatedly, people like Tucker Carlson don't have the courage to do. But the thing is, like Tucker, Dan Bongino's also a Fox News host. And weirdly enough, he has not threatened nor said one single word about Fox's strict vaccine protocols that you either vaccinate or test daily. I guess the tough guy routine only goes so far.
Sorry, forgot to put out on my Parler account how it's October 20th. It's October 20th, right? And Joe Biden is the worst president in U.S. history. Sorry, do that every morning. How to do that there. What's that, Guy? Yeah, that's right. So a couple points on this. You see, here's what's really going on. Chris Hayes obviously has trouble attracting an audience because people aren't attracted to cowardice and people without principles, right? So Chris Hayes has to justify why he has no principles and has to basically spin it on the air to say, well, Dan Bongino, he won't call out Fox News for their protocols. Their protocols. I'm calling out Cumulus for their vaccine mandate, not their protocols. Did he miss that? Chris, pretty much every company in America, due to the prevalence of the coronavirus, has some kind of protocol, correct? Now, Guy, Joe, last time I checked, my beef with Cumulus wasn't about, did you hear me mention the protocols? You did not? Joe, did you?
No.
Okay, so I have a beef with the mandate, but notice how Hayes because he doesn't want anyone to stand. Again, he has to attack people who stand because he's afraid someone else might stand and dance with them. Hayes has to make it about something it's not about. As this article in Mediaite acknowledges, covering this by Michael Luciano, Hayes hits Bongino for threatening to leave Cumulus, but does not go after Fox over their policies. The tough guy routine only goes so far. I love it how guys like Chris Hayes talk about tough guys. That's kind of common. Believe that for another day. You'll notice in the Mediaite piece, it notes that Fox News does not have a mandate, but it has some strict protocols in place. Well, I guess strict is open to interpretations. It has protocols. I mean, I didn't find them strict. I've found them rather reasonable. And just to be crystal clear for the umpteenth, thousandth time, because I've gotten so many solicitations for interviews from people, just to be clear, there is no vaccine mandate at Fox. I don't know how many times I have to tell the liberal lunatics who even their own lefty websites at Mediaite are acknowledging this. My beef is with mandates. If they were to say to people, hey, listen, we'd appreciate it if you'd get, or, we mandate that you get tested once a week or whatever it is. You have some protocols. It's a private business. Matter of fact, if you want to do a mandate, it's a private business. I just don't have to work there. I object to mandates. If they say you don't have to get a vaccine here, but you may have to go through this procedure, that's not my business. My beef is with the mandates. Once you lose body sovereignty over your own body, you have nothing. You have zero. You have nothing. What is hard for, I want to say what's hard for Chris Hayes to understand, but you and I both know he understands fully. This is about an effort, not just about me, but about the Southwest pilots, the Seattle police and fire. I've got video coming up who are leaving their jobs, military people who are risking their retirement. Folks, listen, it's not a secret. I have means to fight this fight, but that's so I don't understand. So because I have the means to fight this fight, I should not fight it because I have the means to. I don't understand that logic either. When I didn't have the means, I fought a fight too. I left my job in the Secret Service to run for office as a Republican in Maryland, a race I had no chance of winning. I almost went bankrupt. I'm not asking for anybody's pat on the back. Just trying to tell you standing for something matters. And the cowards are outing themselves right now. Here's proof nobody wants to follow cowardice. Hat tip Road MN on social media. He follows the ratings. I want you to take a look at this. Chris Hayes' show airs at 8 o'clock Eastern time on MSNBC. I want you to notice something. His share of the cable news audience. Did you notice on this chart, he has the lowest percentage of the cable news audience viewers of anyone on cable news? He's only tied with another MSNBC show at 5 called Deadline. They both get 19% of the audience.
Ooh.
Yeah. Joe being in the radio business, that media business a long time, that's kind of ugly,
Oh.
There's the problem with Chris Hayes. Cowardice doesn't sell, folks. It never does. Got to stand up for something. Don't fall for anything. Also, speaking of chumps and cowards, there's people on the right. I mentioned Jonah Goldberg yesterday, the rotting bag of Crisco, who thought it was really hilarious that I was standing up here. But there are also people at Cumulus. There's a radio host on an Alabama station, Dale Jackson, who thought this was some virtue signaling act, which I think is kind of hilarious because I've never met Dale, don't know who Dale is. But Dale formed an opinion about me, despite Dale never reaching out for a comment, never asking me for a comment. I think he claims to be a conservative, too. The reason is Dale's a coward, too. Just like Hayes. Never had the guts to reach out. So I called in his show because I have the guts to do it. He wouldn't call in mine for a comment. He just already formulated an opinion. It was virtue signaling. What is virtue signaling? A signal, trying to signal virtue or something? So when I do something, walk away from a station or tell them they change this or I'm leaving, that's not as good as you talking about me doing something and I'm the signaler. Again, you have cowards on the left and on the right who are just uncomfortable with anybody standing up for their principles. Happens all the time.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.